Hey everyone, Kunik here, back with another D&D horror story for you today. In this story, we have a player that gets nerd-shamed, for lack of a better word, for not being, quote, nerdy enough. I won't say any more, so with that all said, let's roll for initiative and begin the story. This happened to me just last month, and it was an experience for sure. First of all, some background info. I'm a 19-year-old college student, and am definitely a nerd. I'm super into anime and manga. Mostly manga, comic books, video games, and movies. But I also have other interests, such as fashion and combat sports, which translate into my appearance more than my nerdy interest. I admit that I am an extremely vain person. I like to look good and dress with the trends. I do Muay Thai, not because I have a warrior spirit, or to learn to protect myself or stuff like that. I learned it just to stay in shape. I don't do other sports because I am mostly ass at other sports. The reason I'm telling you all of this is because it'll be an important part of the story. Let me explain. The title says I'm not a nerd because the group judges me of not being nerd-worthy. Yes, you heard that right. I'll start with the group. Met them a month ago from my best friend Faye, not his real name. Faye is a super nerd, super into anime/manga like me, video games and much. We've been friends since 8 years old, so he knows a ton of crap about me and my interest. He knew I am super into D&D, but never got a chance to play it for real. Being a good friend that he is, during the lockdown he had contacted with some of his friends that play Magic the Gathering, to set up a session and invited me to play with them as well. I was super excited. This is like a dream come true, where I can be my super nerdy self with all of my fellow nerds without being judged. I wanted to RP, I wanted to fantasize badass moments, I wanted to build friendships with my fellow adventurer, and such. Little did I know, my fantasy would stay a fantasy. Then we planned to play and meet at one of Faye's friends' house. He's the DM. Let's call him Gabe. Gabe was super friendly towards Faye, but not so much towards me. I thought maybe he's just not comfortable with me yet, which I completely understand. Then, two other players show up. Let's call them Ivan and Murray. When we first met, Ivan and Murray straight up just acted like I wasn't there, and kept ignoring me. I was super upset because I thought how would we have a fun time D&Ding like this, but I still kept with my thoughts of maybe they're just uncomfortable with me. Them being uncomfortable might be the problem at first, but as time goes on, I was sure they're actually hating on me. You see, after everybody arrived, we started to sit down at Gabe's living room, except for Gabe himself. Faye is making small conversation with Ivan and Murray. I tried to be friendly and converse with them, but they would just end the conversation or straight up ignore me. I was getting kinda temperamental with this asshole-ish treatment, so I called them out on it. I said something along the lines of, "Why are you guys acting like I'm Hitler?" in my language. They started to look super uncomfortable after that and stayed silent the entire time. I felt super guilty, so I just shut up after that. My friend Faye was understandably super awkward after that too. I thought that maybe they're just shy and intimidated on socializing with new people. I know most nerdy people are socially awkward, but I never thought they would be this awkward. Then Gabe started to set up the table, but then sensed that the group was super awkward and asked, "What's up?" Ivan then replied, "Why did you invite him over?" pointing towards me. I said, "I came with Faye, I wanted to play D&D, and he said I can join." He also said that Gabe is fine with it. I was super defensive because he made it seem like it was my fault for this tense-ass situation. Then Murray said, "Why do you want to play D&D? You don't look like someone that likes to play this sort of stuff." Now, I realized they were acting like that because I don't look like a nerd, which is stupid. I really thought this kind of mentality doesn't exist anymore, but reality proves otherwise. How does my look have anything to do with me wanting to play D&D, I said. Faye backed me up and said, "You guys sound super dumb right now. Judging people based on their appearance is some 5th grade level shit," or something like that. Gabe looked super uncomfortable right now. Ivan then said, "You really should not play this kind of game. We don't like people like you here." I was like, damn, fine, I could play with someone else, and just left with Faye. Before I left though, Even Gabe the DM said to Faye that maybe he should not invite people like me because it would make them uncomfortable. It was a super disappointing experience. I never thought that I would be judged based on my appearance and be outcast just because I don't look like a nerd. A super disappointing experience, but I'm still trying to look for a nice group to pop my D&D cherries, lol. End post. Yeah, I think that this kind of mentality has absolutely no place in D&D. Definitely in recent years with things like Critical Role and in general Comic-Con and all of that, making it a bit more of a norm for your everyday person. Regardless, the old saying goes, don't judge a book by its cover. Anyhow, that's it for this video. As always, the source of the video is in the description below. And if you like the video and you want to see more videos just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon to be notified of my future videos. And while you wait for those future videos, here are a few related videos from my channel that you can watch in the meantime.